Hey guys, what's going on? It's Nick Riccio from Fairway. Today I wanted to talk about the budgeting process. So I did a post about this not too long ago on the difference between budgeting pre-approval and then also doing a family budget and seeing how those two things differ. And so I got a lot of feedback on that. And so I wanted to jump on here and do an example of how the pre-approval process ties into the family budget process and how they're completely different. So what I did was I used a family example. So a couple so it's a dual income family, no children, and I pre-approved them for a purchase price of 650,000 and putting down a 20% down payment, each borrower making $65,000 each. And what I did was I put together what the housing payment would look like. As you can see here on the right, I showed what the income would be that us as the lender would use. And then I also showed what the after-tax income looks like for real life. And then I also broke out the expenses used by the lender, so things we'll look at versus what the real life scenario looks like. So again, I talked about this before, but I just wanted to reiterate that as the lender, what we're looking to do is look at your income, look at your expenses, and we formulate a ratio, what we call as the debt to income ratio. So we're really looking at the margin between your income and your expenses, and different loan programs have a guide of where that number needs to be for you to fit into that loan program. So what I did, I took this couple earning $65,000 each, pre-approved them for a $650,000 purchase, and I actually could have pre-approved them for a little bit larger, but I thought it would be helpful to make this realistic. So that was somewhat conservative, and then on my living expenses, I tried to be somewhat conservative on those. Obviously, the goal was to try to make this realistic for folks so they can relate to it and understand it, but I did want to try to be conservative where I could. So you can look through this and see some of the expenses I put, but it's your typical cable, Wi-Fi, common utilities to run your home. You can see I even have Spotify, haircut, groceries, gym membership. And then what I did was I highlighted the expenses that us as the lender would look at. So out of this long list, you can see that there's only three expenses that we would look at and we would use to calculate for debt. So over on the right, you can see here for expenses. So expenses used by lender for qualification purposes would only be $1,300. And so that's taken the $500 car payment, the $600 combined student loan payment, and a $200 credit card payment. And you can see that this full list actually totals up over $4,000 per month. So there's a wide gap between what us, the lender, is using as your expenses and what your actual total monthly expenses are. And again, everyone's different. So you may have lofty retirement goals, or you want to start saving for children's education, or you like to vacation a lot. Whatever the case may be, each family is going to have different monthly variable expenses that they choose to spend their money on. It's discretionary costs, and they choose to spend it how they like. Now, the other important piece is the income. So you can see the income used by the lender is significantly higher. So again, as the lender, all we're doing, use an example of a salaried W-2 employee, and all we're doing is taking that income, dividing it by 12, and that's your monthly income that we will use to qualify you for a mortgage. Again, we all know that that's not the actual amount that's going to hit your paycheck. It's going to be significantly less. So what I did is I ran this through a payment calculator. All I took out was your state and federal taxes, and you can see that it's that almost $11,000 worth of income came down to just over $8,000. So again, that's a huge gap. So now we have a big gap on expenses and we have a big gap on income. And you can see how with that gap, you can see that after the mortgage payment, after the expenses, this family would only be left with $1,700 per month. Now, that's certainly better than being paycheck to paycheck. And, some families may feel like that's a good number. Some may say, I would prefer to have more savings. Again, everything is case by case and person by person because everyone has different goals, different aspirations, all of that. So I show this as example. Feel free to interpret this how you wish, but the goal of this is really just to show that there is a wide gap from what the lender is going to pre-approve you for and what may actually fit into your family budget. So if you have any questions on budgeting, this budget I threw together in 15 minutes. It's super simple, super basic, but I would be willing to share it if anyone needs help getting started. If anyone wants to have a conversation about their budget or wanting to get pre-approved, I'm happy to have that conversation as well. But the big thing I just want to point out and make people aware is that getting pre-approved, as I say all the time, is really great, but you need to dig deeper and you need to really get comfortable with the amount of monthly payment that you're looking to spend. Because at the end of the day, home ownership is expensive. It is an investment, and there's going to be things like maintenance that you don't incur as a renter. So there's general upkeep that comes with the home, and that's not part of your monthly payment. So keep all of this in mind. And if you have any questions or want to chat about any of this, I am happy to do so. But thanks for watching. I appreciate it.